All of you to the first in a new series of briefings that we're calling Why Social Science. I'm Wendy Noss, Executive Director of the Consortium of Social Science Associations here in Washington, otherwise known as COSA, and it's my pleasure to introduce today's event. First, let me say a quick word about social science. You probably saw the buttons and the signs and the stickers. So we launched Why Social Science back in January, and the main feature of which is a new website, whysocialscience.com, and a bi-weekly blog series that highlights the value of social and behavioral science research to our everyday lives. Just since January, we've featured voices representing different social science fields. We've had a member of Congress and the president of the National Academy of Sciences, who is not a social scientist. All answering the question, why social science? And that's really the only guidance that we give them when asking them to write the blog, so that we will get these very unique perspectives on the value of our sciences from these unique audiences. And in the coming months, we'll have folks from other scientific disciplines outside of the social sciences, industry, practitioners, and other stakeholders of the social and behavioral sciences. Keeping this with this Why Social Science theme, today is the first, and what I said will be a series of briefings on the Hill with a similar theme, Why Social Science. And we're very pleased to have with us Dr. Alvin Roth. Before I turn to Dr. Roth, though, let me take a moment to thank our sponsors. So today's event would not be possible without the support of Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson and her excellent staff, and our generous sponsor, Sage Publishing. And so I'd like to welcome Todd Baldwin from Sage to come up and say just a few words before we get started.
Hello, my name is Todd Baldwin. I'm Executive Director for Library Publishing at Sage Publishing, and we're delighted to be sponsoring this event along with our partners COSA today. Sage is an independent company, for those of you that don't know us, and we've been publishing social and behavioral research for over 50 years. We're passionate about the social sciences because we see time and time again what a difference the social sciences can make. And so I just want to give you just a few examples. First, longitudinal research by the federally funded AdHealth project into adolescent health, which showed how conditions like obesity can spread among friend groups, much like a viral contagion. And that has led to insights into how family and friend groups can help to mitigate those effects and avoid the adverse impacts and health effects years into the future that not only helps those individuals, but helps save society money. There's work by Victoria Sutton in the biosecurity field, which discovered that scientists were more afraid of a paperwork error than they were of making a mistake with a horribly lethal pathogen. And the result of that work was OSTP found Victoria Sutton's paper, and they actually changed their procedures for in their biosecurity regulations, potentially avoiding disaster. Work by Joel Cohen and Christopher Smalls in a field called hypsographic demography, which showed that over a third of the world's population lives within 300 feet of sea level, which has enormous repercussions for disaster planning and response. And incidentally, that work also led to changes, to insights in cancer research and into silicon chip manufacturing. These have knock-on effects, this research. And of course, today our discussion will show how economic research can support advances in the medical sciences. It's our view that the social sciences are vital to creating good practice and policy in any domain that involves humans, and that is virtually all of them. In recent years, though, the value of social and behavioral science has been called into question with alarming frequency by some policymakers. It's ironic because arguably policymakers need good social science more than almost anyone else. And yet we're in an environment where many of our colleagues and our SAGE authors are in fear of losing their funding. Federal agencies have to be mindful, of course, of fiscal responsibility. We understand that, but we should also be mindful that research conducted by social and behavioral scientists has made us more efficient. It's helped save countless dollars and lives. In fact, one of my favorite little tidbits is federal funding into auctions, and game theory helped inform the design of, and perhaps Dr. Roth will know more about this than I do, but helped to design the FCC auction of frequencies in the telecommunications spectrum, which not only was an enormously efficient mechanism for allocating those frequencies, but it also raised $60 billion, which I believe is roughly 8 times the budget of the NSF in 2016. So for all of those reasons, social science and behavioral research lies at the heart of Sage Publishing and our mission, and we are going to continue to passionately advocate for it for years. And it's also the reason why we're delighted to be here to sponsor the event with Dr. Roth and his work in showing how economic insights can help to save lives, which is a great example. So I want to thank, first of all, our partners COSA for sponsoring this event with us. And I want to thank all of you for joining us. And I want to thank Dr. Roth. Thank you.
Okay, so we do have a real treat for you today, and I must say the perfect way to kick off our Why Social Science Briefing series. Dr. Alvin Roth is the Craig and Susan McCaw Professor of Economics at Stanford and the George Gunn Professor Emeritus of Economics and Business Administration at Harvard. His fundamental research in market design impacts our daily lives in ways that we likely don't notice. His work is a shining example of how basic research funded by the federal government can have long-term impacts that may not be known at the time the research is conducted. In fact, it's also often impossible to know just how a specific research finding can be applied to a certain challenge until decades later. His research has earned him the 2012 Nobel Prize in Economics because of its application to kidney exchanges, which allows incompatible patient-donor pairs to find compatible kidneys for transplantation. So before we hear directly from Dr. Roth, I'd like to share a short video specifically about the work on kidney exchanges. COSA cannot take any credit for the video, I wish we could, but it's actually a project of the National Academy of Sciences and is available on their website, their From Research to Reward website. So if you would turn to the screens and we'll see the short video.